Good evening, everyone. Let me ask you something. Have you ever walked into a room where you knew people were judging you before you even spoke? Have you ever been underestimated, dismissed, or doubted before you got a chance to prove yourself? Yeah, me too. But here's the thing. I learned to act as if nothing affects me. Not because I'm made of steel, but because the world doesn't need to see you break. We live in a world where opinions are thrown at us like confetti, on social media, in boardrooms, in family dinners. But guess what? You don't owe anyone your vulnerability. Not every crack needs to be on display. Sometimes strength is silent. It's in how you keep showing up, how you walk with your chin up even when your heart is heavy. Acting as nothing affects you is not denial. It's power. It's knowing that your emotions are real, but they don't get to drive your car. Your purpose does. Your ambition does. Your self-worth does. Because here's the truth. People will talk, criticize, doubt. Let them. That's their job. Your job is to stay focused, stay grounded, and keep moving. You're not cold, you're composed, you're not distant, you're disciplined. And when you carry yourself like nothing affects you, the world starts to believe in your strength before you even speak. So walk into rooms like you belong there, handle rejection like it's redirection, and when the noise gets too loud, just smile. Thank you. There's something incredibly powerful about a person who can stand tall when the world expects them to fall apart. Grace under pressure isn't about pretending everything is fine, it's about choosing composure over chaos. It's about being in the middle of a storm and still making people wonder how you're walking through it without flinching. This kind of presence doesn't come from pretending to be invincible. It comes from practice, resilience, and the quiet decision to never let your emotions overpower your essence. When you're under pressure, whether from public scrutiny, failure, heartbreak, or expectations, there's a natural instinct to react emotionally. And there's nothing wrong with feeling things deeply, but power comes in deciding how and when you express those feelings. Grace doesn't mean bottling everything up. It means knowing the right time and place. It's being in control of your narrative so no one else gets to twist it. It's responding with elegance, not aggression. Choosing stillness when the world demands a reaction. People often confuse grace with weakness, as if not exploding means you're unaffected or passive, but the opposite is true. Holding your ground, keeping your voice steady, and showing strength in silence takes far more courage than any outburst. Grace is never about shrinking. It's about standing firm without letting the pressure define your energy. When you walk into a room with calm under tension, you don't just impress people, you unsettle them. Because true poise is rare and it makes noise, even when you say nothing. You can't control how the world throws challenges at you, but you can control how you show up in the moment. The ability to carry yourself with dignity in the middle of doubt or adversity isn't something you're born with. It's a choice to protect your peace. A choice to guard your confidence, and a choice to remind yourself that the weight you're carrying is not heavier than the strength you've built. Grace under pressure is not about pretending, it's about commanding, about refusing to let the moment crack your spirit, no matter how loud it gets. Emotional discipline doesn't mean shutting down your feelings, it means mastering them. It's the ability to feel everything without letting those feelings dictate your every move. In a world that constantly provokes us, whether through criticism, competition, or chaos, emotional discipline becomes your shield. It allows you to pause before reacting, to assess before responding, and to walk away with your dignity intact even when your ego is itching to fight back. That's not suppression, that's strategy. There's a quiet confidence in people who don't let their emotions leak into every decision they make. They listen before they speak, they breathe before they act. That doesn't make them cold, it makes them powerful. When you practice emotional discipline, you're not giving up your authenticity, you're elevating your impact. You're choosing to stay centered, especially when someone else is trying to pull you off balance. That kind of control is natural, it's trained. It comes from failing, from overreacting, from regretting, and then finally deciding, I won't let that happen again. When you let your emotions lead every reaction, you give people access to your triggers. You hand over your peace like a gift they didn't earn. But when you stay grounded, even in moments of high tension, you set the tone for how others treat you. Emotional discipline isn't about being unreadable, it's about being unshakable. It's knowing when to speak up and when to let silence carry more power. It's the art of choosing your moments wisely, so when you do speak or act, it lands with purpose, not just passion. And let's be clear, disciplining your emotions doesn't mean you lack them, it means you own them. You get to decide which emotion deserves a spotlight and which one needs to be processed privately. Not everyone deserves access to your unfiltered self. Some moments require fire and others demand ice. Emotional discipline teaches you the difference. It helps you protect your energy, your boundaries, and most importantly, your credibility. Because while the world respects passion, it follows composure. Vulnerability is often praised as a strength, and it is. But like any strength, it becomes most powerful when it's intentional. Selective vulnerability is not about being guarded or emotionally unavailable. It's about being smart with your softness. It's about knowing that your pain, your journey, and your truth are sacred, and not everyone deserves a front row seat to your healing. There's power in privacy. There's wisdom in choosing who gets to see your scars and when you reveal them. We live in an age where oversharing is celebrated, where being raw is often mistaken for being real, but there's a difference between authenticity and exposure. Just because you're going through something doesn't mean you have to post it, explain it, or perform it. Selective vulnerability allows you to take ownership of your story without handing it over to everyone. It's the quiet decision to protect parts of yourself from being misunderstood, manipulated, or reduced to gossip. When you choose vulnerability with intention, you reclaim control. You decide how your story is told. You decide whether a moment is for comfort or for performance. You don't owe the world your unfiltered pain just to prove you're human. Sometimes, the most courageous thing you can do is to feel everything deeply and keep it to yourself until you're ready to share from a place of power, not from a place of rawness. You're not hiding, you're healing, and healing requires space. Selective vulnerability also teaches others how to treat you. When you share with discernment, people learn that your emotions aren't entertainment. They're real, they're valuable, they're not up for debate. You show up with strength wrapped in self-respect. And that sets a tone that demands dignity. Being open doesn't mean being available to everyone. It means being aligned with yourself, your boundaries, and your truth. Vulnerability isn't a spotlight, it's a filter. And you get to control the light. Confidence is an inside job. It's that quiet, unshakable knowing that you are enough. Without applause, without approval, without anyone clapping for you. When you build your confidence from within, external validation becomes a bonus, not a necessity. You stop needing permission to shine. You stop waiting for someone else to see your worth before you allow yourself to believe it. And in a world obsessed with likes, follows, and praise, that kind of internal power is rare and revolutionary. Validation feels good, no doubt. We all want to be seen, appreciated, and acknowledged. But the danger lies in becoming addicted to it, basing your self-worth on how others respond to you. The moment your value depends on someone else's opinion, you've handed them control of your confidence. And here's the truth, that control should never leave your hands, because validation from others is temporary. It fluctuates, but confidence, when rooted in truth, effort, and self-respect, is lasting. It walks into every room before you do, and it doesn't need applause to speak loudly. When you choose confidence over validation, you become your own source of reassurance. You learn to clap for yourself when no one else does. You celebrate your small wins in silence and face your failures without begging for sympathy. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You already are the proof. And that shifts how you move. You take up space without apology. You speak with clarity instead of insecurity. You stop performing and start owning. Confidence doesn't say, please like me. It says, I like me, and that's enough. This kind of self-trust is magnetic. People can feel it when you're not chasing approval, when you don't flinch at criticism, and when you're comfortable standing alone if that's what your truth requires. Confidence is what keeps you grounded when the applause fades and the spotlight moves. It reminds you that you were whole before the world even noticed. And once you have it, you stop asking, am I enough? And start declaring, I always have been. In a world that constantly demands noise, louder opinions, quicker responses, faster reactions, silence becomes a power move. It takes real strength to hold your tongue when your pride is poked, when gossip surrounds you, or when you feel misunderstood. Silence isn't weakness. It's not. That kind of control commands respect without saying a word. There's a discipline in choosing silence when ego wants to speak. It's a refusal to play into drama or defend yourself to people who are already committed to misunderstanding you. Silence doesn't mean you're okay with being disrespected. It means you don't lower yourself to defend what doesn't require defending. Your character, your truth, your growth, all of it speaks for you in ways that noise never will. And those who are truly aligned with you won't need your explanations to believe in your value. Sometimes the most powerful message you can send is no message at all. Walk away, stay still. Let your silence fill the space where chaos expected a performance. The world underestimates the person who doesn't react, because silence in its purest form is unnerving. It puts the pressure back on the world to question itself. It's bold because it's rare. Most people can't handle the discomfort of not being heard. But when you master silence, you stop needing the last word. You realize peace is louder. And silence doesn't mean you have nothing to say. It means you're choosing when and how to say it. It's about timing, precision, power. Speaking less makes your words carry more weight when you do choose to use them. You're not silent because you're afraid. You're silent because you know exactly what your energy is worth. And sometimes the highest form of self-respect is not engaging at all. It's knowing that your attention is currency, and not everyone can afford it. The way you enter a room says everything. You don't have to be loud to be powerful, and you don't need attention to be relevant. When you command your space, it's not about dominating others, it's about owning your presence. It's walking in with posture, purpose, and a kind of silent confidence that makes people turn their heads without knowing why. You don't wait for permission to be seen. You don't shrink to make others comfortable. You take your space and you fill it with authenticity. Commanding your space starts long before you speak. It's in how you carry yourself, the way you hold your head high, maintain your energy, and stay rooted in who you are, no matter the room you're in. Whether you're in a meeting, on a stage, or walking down the street, your energy introduces you before you even say a word. And when you truly believe you belong, others begin to believe it too. Not because you demanded it, but because you embodied it. Hey, there's a difference between arrogance and presence. Arrogance is desperate. It needs to be seen. It needs applause. Presence is powerful. It doesn't chase attention. It draws it. When you command your space, you no longer worry about fitting in. You create your own category. You make people adjust to your energy instead of dimming yours to match theirs. That's not ego. That's alignment. That's knowing that you're not a guest in your own life. You're the host. People will treat you how you treat yourself. If you walk small, they'll believe you're small. If you hesitate, they'll doubt you. But if you walk with intention, if you sit at the table like you've earned your seat, speak with clarity, and move like you're not afraid of being watched, you shift the dynamic. You stop surviving in spaces and start owning them. Not because you need to prove something, but because you finally understand that confidence doesn't follow success, confidence creates it. So, act as nothing affects you, not because you feel nothing, but because you know how to carry everything with power. Carry your grace like armor. Let your emotional discipline shape your strength. Protect your vulnerability like the rare jewel it is. Choose confidence over applause. Let your silence speak volumes, and never shrink from your space. Take it, own it, and light it up. The world will always try to define you, provoke you, test you. But you're not here to be shaken. You're here to be remembered. So walk forward, unapologetic, unbothered, unshaken, and let them wonder how you're still standing here.